हा तर
सौरभ जरा हे पाठवतोस का, हे जे लावलंयस तू जरा कॉपी करतो का, मला व्हॉट्सअप करतो पोस्टर. सौरभ, अमोल,
हा मॅडम.
जरा
हॅलो
हा
मॅडम,
जे
येतोय आवाज?
लावलं, हा जे तुम्ही लावलंय पोस्टर फोटोवाला,
हा हा
त्याची
हा.
कॉपी व्हॉट्सअप करा ना मला, प्लीज
हो
प्लीज
हो
डू इट.
हो मॅडम. हा
तू
होतं.
कर,
हो.
हरकत नाहीये, कर कर.
हा.
हा, मी मोबाईल बंद करते, पण मला बाकी कोणी इथे दिसत नाहीये. पण मी एकदा माईक चेक करू का माझा? ओके, मी मोबाईल ठेवतेय.
झालं ना?
असं वाटतंय.
हाँ बोल. या आई एम रेडी, मैं तो कब से तैयार हूँ. या स्टार्ट.
Good afternoon, all the teachers and the students. On behalf of KJ Somaya College of Science and Commerce, I welcome you all. Before beginning with the session, I request Dr. Shruti Barve to recite our campus prayer as per the Somaya tradition. Thank you.
हॅलो.
एक मिनिट थांबा मॅम. Yeah, ma'am, just a minute. तुमची स्क्रीन आहे उद्या. माइक बंद है.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes,
Is it
madam.
okay?
Yes, madam. You are.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, madam. You are audible.
You're audible.
Hello. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ॐ ईशावास्यमिदं सर्वं यत्किञ्चित् जगत्यां जगत् तेन त्यक्तेन भुञ्जीथाः मा गृधः कस्य स्विद्धनम्. मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्. ॐ प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्र्यवतु. ॐ चोदयित्री सुनृतानां चेतन्ती सुमतीनां यज्ञं दधे सरस्वती. ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतङ्गमय. ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै. सर्वेऽपि सुखिनः सन्तु सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखमाप्नुयात्. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. धन्यवाद.
Thank you, Shruti madam, for your melodious recitation. During this COVID pandemic, not just India, but the whole world has been affected. economically, socially, as well as psychologically. However, it is said that adversities bring out the best in man. It makes him humble, patient, and self-reliant. There is always a silver lining behind every dark cloud. With this note, I request our beloved principal, Dr. Pradnya Prabhu, Madam, to say a few words about the college and DLAB. Thank you. Ma'am, just a minute. एक minute. Ma'am, you can speak. Pradnya madam. Ma'am, we are not. Ma'am, just a minute.
I guess. ऐकू येत नाही. सौरभ.
Amol sir.
हा, आता ऐकू येतो.
Yes.
Now you are been able.
Yeah.
We are able to hear now. Tell madam now.
Ma'am,
Ma'am.
should I talk?
हाँ.
Saurabh?
Ma'am is there.
नाही
हाँ.
मॅडम सौरभ
मॅडम.
मॅडमने बोलायचं आहे ना. मॅडम बोलले नाही अजून.
नाही मॅडमचा आवाज मला येत नाही ऐकायला.
सौरभ, तू मॅडमला अनम्यूट कर ना.
मी अनम्यूटेड आहेत मॅडम.
मॅडमला मॅडम.
प्रज्ञा
मॅडम अनम्यूटेड आहेत. मला इथे दिसतंय. मला पण आवाज येत नाहीये मॅडमचा.
मॅडमला सांग स्वतःच अनम्यूट करायला.
मॅम तुमचा व्हॉइस ऑडिबल नाहीये. हॅलो मॅम.
कोणाचा? माझा?
नाही, प्रज्ञा मॅडमचा.
प्रज्ञा मॅडमचा त्यांना सांग अनम्यूट करायला, नाही तो प्रॉब्लेम होणार.
सौरभ
हां मॅमला मी फोन करतो.
नाही मॅडम
हां मॅम तुमचा आवाज ऐकायला येत नाहीये मॅम. हां बरं ओके मॅम. ओके 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 बरं मॅम. ओके मॅम. या
बोला म्हणावं त्यांना.
ओके मॅम. हॅलो मॅम.
पुन्हा बोलायला.
मॅम म्हणाला की त्यांचा काहीतरी टेक्निकल प्रॉब्लेम आहे मॅमचा. ओके.
So we will go ahead. Saurabh?
Yes.
Okay.
I will introduce.
Now I request Dr. Amol sir to give introduction of the resource person for today's session. Amol sir.
Yes. Good afternoon to all. Am I audible, Saurabh sir?
Yes, you are.
Yes. Good afternoon to all. It gives me a great pleasure to introduce today's speaker, Professor Sabia More. She is Associate Professor from Srimati Surajba College of Education, Andheri, Mumbai. Madam has completed Bachelor of Arts in Economics, Hindi Education, and Master of Arts in 6 subjects: History, Sociology, Rural Development, Public Administration, Gandhi and Peace Studies. She has also done PG Diploma in Mass Communication and Journalism and certificate course in Peace Studies from Department of Psychology from University of Mumbai and also cleared SET examination. Presently, Madam is pursuing doctoral studies in education. She is having more than 28 years of teaching experience and she has published 25 papers in various national magazines and books on research and completed one minor research project of UGC. Madam is polyglot because she is very fluent in 8 languages: English, Hindi, Marathi, Gujarati, Punjabi, Urdu, Awadhi, and Bhojpuri. She has written number of poems and street plays for university level. Madam is a member of Board of Studies, chairperson of ECCE Education and MA Education. She was invited by American Center for reciting poetry. So with this brief introduction, now I request Madam to deliver the lecture. Today, Madam, she will be talking on COVID-19, the psychological and sociological impact on women and children. Thank you.
Saurabh sir, can I start?
Just a minute, ma'am.
Oh.
A minute. I will share the screen.
Yeah, please share the screen.
And I will send live. I will add your video as well. Just a minute, ma'am.
Yeah.
Are you able to see the full screen, ma'am?
Yes, I am able to see full screen. It's okay, even if you share the screen with the video, it will be nice. If not, you can begin. Shall I start?
Yes, ma'am.
Am I audible? Have all the students joined in, Saurabh?
Very much.
Yeah, okay. So, good evening, friends. At the outset, I would like to thank KJ Somaya College for having this webinar arranged. I would also like to thank the principal, Pradnya Madam, for having given me a platform to share my views, first as a sociologist and a feminist, and second as a professor of my 28 years of teaching. I'm very much interested in social reconstruction, and it makes me mad when people don't behave in society properly. Yes, I want society to have a certain view of life, maybe what I think others may not think, but I'm very much worried about society than I'm worried about anything else, because ultimately man is a social animal. Before I proceed further, I would like to thank these 3 young teachers of Somaya College who are so enthusiastic about putting up a webinar. Saurav sir, Amol sir, and Sarang sir. I mean, I've rarely seen somebody to perspire so much to arrange for a seminar. They had a dummy meeting with me 2 days before, then yesterday twice meeting. They did a demo, and they were very sure that this seminar should go on. I don't know what made them think like that. Probably they were working for lifelong education. I don't know whether the people who have joined in do understand what is the meaning of lifelong education. Your degree ends the formal education, but your experience continues and extend lifelong education. When it is said that man learns from womb to tomb, so you have to understand, even you may have done your PhD or doctoral or anything else, the learning does not stop. And that is why we have a lifelong education department in our university. Probably every university has extension department, even Mumbai University has. But so far, whatever notification I get for having a webinar, none of them have been organized by the lifelong department education. IQAC has organized, colleges have organized, Department of Education has organized, but lifelong department has not organized so far as of my knowledge. So congratulations to all these three young teachers who have been so enthusiastic to ensure that lifelong education continues in the campuses and the minds of the people who are attached and, you know, like connected to Somaiya College, whose founder member also had the same vision to reconstruct society. Saying all that, we all know that today COVID-19 has made so much of impact on our lives. So we just go and check out about first COVID-19 and that why did I choose this as a topic. When Saurav asked me and Sarang asked me that, madam, what is it that you would like to speak? I said, let's talk about women and children who are so far marginalized from every news channel, from all talks, from all other things. People are talking about exam, but they're not talking about children. People are talking about women losing their job, but they're not talking about women. So we have to talk about it. Saurav, the next slide, please. Okay, so I don't know, when I made this data yesterday night, this was the condition of the COVID-19. I don't know whether you understand this or not, but there are about, you know, some 59,38,000 people who have been affected by corona, and there are about 3,62,000 people who have died due to corona. But this is also a good news that about 26 lakh people have also been recovered from corona. If you look at India, the latest figure that I saw before starting this webinar was that is about 1,70,000 people have been affected by corona, and there are about 5,000 deaths in India as corona. Now, when you look at the death rates and compared it with other countries, you will say 5,000 is very minuscule compared to USA or other things, or you know, Bolivia or Colombia or UK or other things. But my dear friends, I want to draw your attention that these are death of physical bodies. Have we ever tried to find out how many mental, psychological, sociological deaths are taking place each day in our country? And probably being the beacons of light as teachers and educators, we should fairly worry about that situation also. And I'm very happy that there was a college who wanted to think on lines which others were only talking about economics. So the growth rate has come down to 3.4%, and the steel industry is coming down, and the auto industry is coming down, and other things people are talking. But are we talking about the psychological and the mental health of people? Are we talking about daily fights, रोज की जंग जद्दोजहद जो लोग करते हैं आज कोरोना की वजह से? How many time do they spend on going to a police station to register their name? How much of time they spend before a station to board a train? How much time they spend to board a train and reach their destination? How much time they spend outside the villages? Do you know that even if you go to your village, you're not been allowed to come inside a village? In Maharashtra, in Sholapur, in Akola, in Hingoli, if you look at the taluka, there are people who are, you know, in a tent, in a plastic tent, because their own villages have not allowed them to come inside the village. There is no water, there is no electricity, there is no doctor, there is no food procurement. They're dying every day. So we have to think about that part of the society also, not only as intellectual, but as fellow human beings too. So let's discuss that. Please, the next slide, Saurav. Okay, so what is the effect of COVID-19 on people's life? 195 countries have registered COVID-19 cases. We have about 213 countries. Some are being countries are not independent. They are being ruled by other like French and UK and US territories, but they are countries. So they together make 213. Out of that, 195 countries have registered COVID-19 cases. Employment rates are getting higher. If you look at India, the employment rate has gone to 34%. In USA, it has gone up to 62% unemployment rate. It is getting. Many big businesses are getting bankrupt. You know, you have heard about Hertz, you have heard about Boeing, you have heard of Australian Airlines. These are multi-giants who have filed for bankruptcy. There are other companies which are also filing for bankruptcy. So businesses are going out, like out of this thing. They are going this thing. Job cuts, pay cuts, relieved from jobs for a couple of months are various in numbers. If you look at Thomas Cook, there are young boys and girls who have done some course in Garware Institute and have joined travel agencies. All of them are at home. They are on the roll, but not on the payroll. They have said, we'll give you holidays without pay. So like this, there are numerous people who are sitting at home without job. All the airline people are sitting without job. Of course, COVID-19 had shown how fragile our healthcare system is. That in a city like Mumbai, please try to understand, you don't get a bed if you are affected by COVID-19. You are on waiting list. Remember that. Demarcation of only two classes. Remember, friends, when COVID-19 is going to get over, there will only be two classes available to us. One is the haves and the other is the have-not. So they are called bourgeois and proletariats. So this is a German word, but it was exactly same when Karl Marx said that society is only made of two classes of people. Later on in the new world, in knowledge society, we had three classes and the middle class came inside because of this thing. But we will have only two classes. Of course, food procurement is a problem. People don't get food. You must have heard that from 9th May to 29th May, the Shramik trains express, which have traveled from different destination to different destination from metros to the route, there were 80 people who died in the train. There are another 120 who died on the road. Most of them who died on the train were because they did not get enough food. Though railway is saying, no, we provided food, you have not seen videos of people running after water, running after food, snatching foods from each other. There are numerous videos available. Please go on YouTube and see. It's not me who is telling. Fanatism, racialism, communalism, narrow myopic views have emerged in plenty. People have made a particular community, a particular class, a particular place. Today also Delhi has stopped its border from, Haryana and UP have stopped people from entering their country from Delhi. Now you understand, when Delhi was expanding, it took Noida and Haryana and Sonipat all into consideration. People opened their offices there. People who are staying in Delhi have to go to Haryana. But you have stopped them because you think that Delhi people are spreading coronavirus. People who will not go to job will not be paid. They will be marked absent, not because of their fault, because of the fault of the administration. Polarization of politics. Today morning, Donald Trump said he wants to disassociate himself from who? WHO, World Health Organization. Now you will say, why? What is the problem? The problem is it is the who provides different kind of medication in third world countries, in African continents, in India, in Bangladesh, in Japan. All the vaccines which are being provided to young children, whether it is measles, TB, tuberculosis, black fever, whooping cough, is being all done under the UN. And if America stops funding WHO, I'm sure there will be more disease, there will be more disability, there will be more sickness around the world. So what is America going to say? That WHO must have done some blunder. I'm not there to debate. But if you stop funding of WHO, the world is going to divide it into two groups. One which is with the WHO, one which is not with WHO. One which is saying China is a culprit, the other is saying no, China is not a culprit. Please try to understand, this is only going to lead to a situation which is called World War III. Please don't do it. And of course, so we need to do some social reconstruction, and that is why this webinar is there. So Saurav, please change the next slide. Okay, so this is the most vulnerable group, the lower income group and the lower middle group. The people who were there in the middle class, in the lower middle class, who had some jobs of 25-30,000 rupees or maybe 18 to 20,000 rupees working in a small factory, in an auto sector, in an auto joint, are all rendered jobless because the industries have stopped. because of the lockdown, there is no production going on. Okay. Then the private sector employees, naturally they say, please, they already have job cuts. I don't know whether you know this or not, that airlines have cut jobs, travel agencies have cut jobs, hotels have cut jobs, not to talk about salons and coaching classes and other things. Jobs are cut. They're saying no coming to school, no job being paid. Maybe they have paid for the month of March 10 days, but April there is no pay, May there is no pay. Landless laborers, they were working in Mumbai, earning about 10-12,000 rupees roughly. They have gone back to their native place, but there is no place where they can till their land. So they are working in Manrega or Narega, whatever other things are, earning 202 rupees per day with wife and probably 2 children. So earning about 6,000 rupees a month in Manrega if they have work. That's how they're going to run their houses. Please try to understand. Besides that 5 kilo rice and 5 kilo, wheat being given to them. And when the chakkis are closed, when the mills are closed, where are they going to take that 5 kilo gehu? How are they going to convert it into flour? Nobody is thinking about that. They only say we have given 5 kilo rice, 5 kilo gehu. It's okay. You have given. It's very nice. You have considered. What about the after effect? What about the fuel? What about the gas? What about the masala? Nobody. Okay. The physical workers, Dihari Mazdoor. Any of you, if you have been to Muhammad Ali Road, on that road there are numerous bookshops, book vendors. There are people who are taking a basket and working for people to saying, "Aapka saman मैं आपके car तक पहुंचा दूं," and by that they earn about 1,000 rupees a day or maybe 800 rupees a day. So they are gone. Don't talk about laborers and other things working at construction sites. They are gone. And of course, the women, children, and handicapped, they are being left at the corner. You don't understand how grave is the problem. Friends, those who are listening, I want to tell you that if society is not in peace, remember, you cannot be in peace. 5 years ago, the richest man in the world was from Mexico. Mexico is a third world country. He was dealing with underworld or something like that. But remember, he did not have a fair, good life because there was crime all around. So just being rich does not make you happy. Being peaceful makes you happy. Being harmonious makes you happy. And it will not happen if you don't think about society. Numbers can vary, things can change, but mindsets also need to be changed. So in this presentation, we are going to focus only on 2 issues. How COVID-19 has given a lot of trouble to women and children. Next slide, please. Okay. Before we discuss and talk, I want to make one thing very clear, that all my data that I'm going to talk about, I have got a data. Yes, I've worked very hard for this. I have not done any primary research on my own. I have not gone to people and talked to them, but I visited various websites, news channels, online magazines, and e-newspapers. Every day I'm subscribed to e-newspapers, so I've got a lot of data. Some personal and professional chats with my friends who are working in these sectors. They have given me some data. My whole dialogue is not against any organization, institution, or political party or polity. This is just a discussion and on facts that can be verified. My focus is to make things better. My focus is not it's to draw attention and develop empathy, not anything else. My idea is that you all start thinking on this line. Don't, even if you cannot do anything, at least have empathy for people whom I'm going to talk. The next slide, please. Next one.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's take the women group. Now, women are 50% of the population anywhere in the world, roughly. Maybe because of women, female infanticide or female feticide. Maybe they may have, skewed to 49, 51 male, female, but still 50% of the population in the world is women. And if you look at the COVID patient data, you will see that roughly equal number of women and men have died. Roughly. I'm not saying this is fairly, but if you look at the data sheet, you'll find if there are 38 women who have died, then there are 45 men who have died and about 7 children have died. That's the normal data. Now, however, the scarcity of gender disaggregated data makes, because we don't have any complete data, you cannot say that men have died more and women have died more. But what we can find, researchers have found that when SARS came up, when Ebola came up, when Zika virus came up, I'm talking about all these pandemics which were normally in the continent of Africa. They were. Zika virus was there, SARS was there, Ebola was there. It indicates that women are impacted differently by health crisis and epidemics. The women who are affected, they are affected. Fine. Let's go to the first point. You remember that women are the first caregivers in homes, communities, and health facilities. What are we talking about? We are talking about in America, there are old age community homes. There are homes which give cares to the children, to the destitute children. There are caregivers where there is child centers. So everywhere they are women, and since they are working from patient to patient, and the other outsiders come and visit this patient, this old people, doctors come, food package delivery boys come, medicine men come. It is stated that in UK a research has been done. 77% of the workforce who are working in informal carers are women. So here also, if you look at the data of the medical person who have got infected, there are about 70% of the nurses who have got affected due to coronavirus, because they are at the front line. If there are 5 nurses, there is only 1 doctor. So naturally, more number of nurses get affected by. In Bombay also, we have seen in Bombay Hospital, in Jaslok, in I think in KEM, there are more number of nurses who have got affected than there are numbers of doctors. Of course, their numbers are also less. Doctors' numbers are less, but they are going to get affected. Okay, and remember, when coronavirus happens, the first thing is that these unpaid the carers who are given, like carers in the community home, they are not getting paid. And if you see, even the women's are who are healthcare workers, not to forget our Anganwadi and Balwadi and Asha Benji and Asha Bahus going and working in coronavirus situation now also. Do you know in UP, if somebody goes from Bombay and he's been quarantined for 14 days, it is the Asha Bahu and the Asha Wadi Benji who goes and tells them what precaution they have to take in case they are they contract coronavirus. So remember, it's only Ashawadi workers, Asha Bahu and Asha Behenjis. So no male is there. Try to understand, because Ashawadi workers and Anganwadi workers get about only 2,500 rupees per month. Of course, their job hours are only 4 hours, but they're paid very less. So men normally don't engage into this kind of activity, and that is why there are more chances of women getting directly contracted with coronavirus, whether it is Ashawadi Behenji in UP, whether it is nurses in Jaslok Hospital, or whether it is home care take workers in UK or USA. So there are more, and this I'm talking, please look at the data. This PowerPoint is available to anybody and everybody who wants to check the authenticity of the data. Please feel free to do that. Next slide, Saurav. Next one. Okay, so it's a fact, it's a data, it's UN is saying that across the globe, women earn less, they save less, they hold less secure jobs, so they are getting more employed in the informal sector. Friends, remember, all the boutiques, all the salons, all the coaching classes, all the nursing homes. If you go to a nursing home, you will find a woman at the desk. May I help you? Right? So since the nursing homes are closed for normal OPD section, remember how many women have lost their job, right? So they are in informal sector. All the workers who were working on farms and fields. So if the Malik has said कि भाई मेरे को अभी खेती नहीं करनी है, so all the fields and the farm women workers are being made to sit at home. Not to forget, I don't know how many of you have visited, but on the footpath nowadays there are n number of women who bring chapati bhaji, poha, upma. If you go to Sieves in Marol in Andheri, you'll find at least 10 women selling cheap food, homemade, good food. If you go to Dadar Cinema Plaza, you'll find women selling food. You'll find women selling flowers early in the morning in Dadar. So they are all informal sector women. These are women who were the bread earners of their family. Since the lockdown, they have no savings because they earn less, so they are able to save less. And since they save less, they cannot sustain for a long period of time. Also, not to forget, all our household helps, our domestic helps are not been allowed to come into the society. I don't know why societies don't make an arrangement for them to go and do a corona test and have a certificate so that women can come in and they can work. Very few of us pay them because they were our domestic help. Most of them have chucked them out of the job, not only in Bombay, but in Delhi, but in Madras, but in other places. There are women who used to earn, like 2,000 rupees per day by sitting next to an old person in a hospital. There were nurses who used to earn 1,000 rupees a night. And since OPD is closed, since patients are sent home, since many of them are at home, many women have lost job like this. Not to talk about people who are setting kangi, chudi, earrings in the trains that we travel, petticoats, dupattas, frocks, everything. They have all rendered jobless. They don't have money. They are absolutely vulnerable to the core. Okay, so therefore their ability to absorb economic shock is very less. Okay, also all the retail industry like hospitality, tourism, women are overrepresented, right? If you go to Kerala, the most attractive part of a Kerala tourism is massage. And if you look at the massage, there are massage at every corner in every state of Kerala, and all the massaging is done by women. You hardly find a male masseur somewhere. Somewhere you'll find a male masseur in this thing. But if you go to Thailand, if you go to Indonesia, if you go to Bali, if you go to Java, if you go to Sumatra, if you go to Kerala, you'll find all massages were done by women. Most of the massages were done by women. They are unisex salon. There is absolutely no problem. But they've all lost job because tourism is lost, hospitality is lost, by other things are lost. So 70% of the informal economy is being run by women, and they have lost their job. They are vulnerable. They don't know what to do. And I don't know whether you have read this or not. There was a very nice actress called Preksha Mehta. She was working in a serial called Crime Patrol. She was in Indore. Please check this fact. She committed suicide couple of days back, maybe 4 days back. Preksha Mehta committed suicide and the last thing that she wrote on her screen or whatever you call your Facebook page is that sapno ka mar jana sabse bura hota hai. Why? Because there were many junior artists who used to work. There were many TV serial who used to hire these small women, small actors who used to act and get about 2,000 rupees per episode, maybe 3,000 rupees per episode, and they don't see anything happening sooner. So sustaining for a year becomes a problem for them. If you doubt, please check Preksha Mehta. She has committed suicide. No, and the reason is COVID-19 lockdown. I don't know about other data, but there may be many more who would have taken the same step abroad also. Next slide, please, Saurav. Okay. Do you know, I know whether you will like it or not, that because of the lockdown, there is no family planning program anymore being exercised in villages, right? Okay. So there are, normally 80 lakh condoms, 15 lakh abortions monthly take place, and 40 lakh pills are usually distributed among the society for prevention of, pregnancy. But since the lockdown, the Ashawadi Behenjis cannot go, the Anganwadi Behenjis cannot go, people cannot go out, they cannot get a pill from a doctor because doctor will not write, it will not have consultation. Okay, very few doctors will be kind enough to write something and give it on a piece of paper. So women go and take the pill. There will be no abortion. Now, please, I'm not talking about abortion that happens because of uncanny behavior of young girls. I'm talking about abortion that is going to happen because men are going to stay back at home and women do not want to have the next child. And feminism says I should have control over my body. They will have unwanted pregnancy. This Foundation for Reproductive Health Services in India, please check their website. They are saying in another next year, we will have about 30 lakhs unwanted pregnancy that our society is going to face. Remember, when a woman is not mentally ready to have a pregnancy, she will have depression, she'll have bulimia, she'll have suicidal tendency, she'll feel neglected, she may have mental health issues. I am talking about that. I'm not talking about whether pregnancy should be there or not there. But if you have unwanted pregnancy, if you don't want a pregnancy, if your pregnancy is zabardasti ladofying on you, you end up having psychological problems. You don't know how many women will commit suicide because they had an unprotected sex with a partner, but they never wanted to tell it to anybody. But shaming of society will probably provoke them to take a step which is absolutely derogatory for mankind. But it is going to happen because this is COVID-19, right? There is nobody thinking about them right now. The whole focus is only on COVID positive and COVID negative. Whether people are psychologically positive or psychologically negative, that is not being changed. And one more thing I want to tell you, if young children are listening to me, I always see on Facebook 10 days sari challenge, 10 days makeup challenge, 10 days some. Please have some challenge which is meaningful. Say 10 days helping your neighbor challenge. Let them post how many people did they help. 10 days working as a, like somewhere in a hospital as a frontline worker challenge. Please have that kind of challenges. We all can dress up well. All people who use Facebook can click with filter, very lovely photo and post it, showing they have done a lot of makeup. No, doing makeup is already fine. I'm not stopping anybody. But look at the time. Look at the situation. People are dying. People don't take bath for 5 days. What are we talking about washing our hands every half an hour? Those people who start from Gujarat and go to Bihar in a train, it takes 5 days for them. They don't have water to drink. Forget about washing their hands with sanitizer or soap, this thing, What are we talking about? Okay? Then next is domestic violence. I'll quote a case. Please refer. Go to the web and find out. In Gujarat, since it was a lockdown, husband and wife were playing Ludo, and the wife, beat the husband 4 times. I mean, she leaded. She won 4 times. So angry was the husband that he gave 1 kick to his wife, and she had a backbone fracture. She was admitted in the hospital. Try to understand. This COVID-19 has increased domestic violence because people are now been locked down in a periphery of 10 by 12. Otherwise, when people used to have fight, either the men used to get out of the house or the women used to get out of the house. Now, everything is inside that 10 by 12 kholi. Those who have got one more room to themselves and women and men can close their room are a privileged few, not everybody. You have not seen the Jhopadpattis, the Jhuggi Bastis, the chawls. Why is Mumbai getting empty? Because chawl has got common toilet. People understand that toilet is a very, grave place to spread corona. So we have to understand that women are getting a lot. They get beating because husband is violent. They get beating because they don't provide whatever food husband want. हमारे यहाँ तो husband आते हैं बोलते हैं आज दाल में तड़का क्यों नहीं है, आज सब्जी में ये क्यों नहीं है, बघार क्यों नहीं है. What about procurement of those things? सुबह 8 बजे से 11 बजे तक बाजार खुलता है, APMC market बंद है, prices have gone high. How does a woman provide you the food that you want? And if they don't provide, they're subjected to different kind of violence. Look at the data. WHO's regional director Hans Kluge says there is a 60% increase in emergency calls by women subjected to violence by their intimate partners in April this year. Only in April. May is still to come. The data has not come. So it indicates that women's violence has increased during this lockdown of COVID-19. Okay. Also, you know that we have got a small self-help group problem in India where women borrow loans of 5,000 rupees, 6,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees, and they start a small chapati bhaji kendra or stitching clothes to this thing. All those SME, small and medium enterprises, have closed. Their loans are not getting repaid. They are not able to do margin. You remember all this Mahila Bachat Gat? In the month of December, we had a great fair in BKC organized by Saras, where we had 500 Mahila Bachat Gat coming to Mumbai and selling their produce. The produce were very rudimentary: papad, pohe, haldi, sukaulele, angur, phalana, very rudimentary product. But then they used to earn something because of the self-help group. Saras is basically a partner of NABARD, National Bank for Agricultural Reform. They give money and then women come and sell. Because of coronavirus, nobody is able to procure that money. Nobody is able to take loan because they have not given the loan back. They will not be given a further loan. Even if they make things, nobody is going to loan. And these are all women. Remember, they are the second bread earners of the family. So if my Food used to be provided for 2 times. Probably my earning adds a breakfast into it, which is almost gone now. Almost gone. All the workers are only having 2 meals a day right now. There is no question of breakfast anywhere, anywhere, even in our household helps and domestic help. So we have to understand, of course, beauty salons and next this thing, Saurav. Okay, okay. Like there is a survey done by International Institute of Rural Reconstruction, and they say that the markets are closed, low sales are low. There is a mobility. People have gone limited mobility, no income alternative. So naturally, women are all in safety, and especially in rural Africa and Asia. I don't know whether you know about this or not. There was an economist who won a Nobel Prize, Mr. Yusuf in Bangladesh, who did microfinancing for women. And he used to give loans of 2,000 rupees, 500 rupees, and women used to make money out of it. So remember, all this has been agricultural loan. Khali, 50 rupees ka lauki ka beej lakar, they used to put it around the house, grow lauki, grow pumpkin, or grow gourd, and sell them in the market. Probably they would get 500 rupees out of it and probably pay for their child's fees. Even that is being done. Okay. The next point is food distribution. I don't know whether Saurav, show the next slide. I don't know that. Just show the next slide. This I wanted to show you. If you look at this slide, 1, 2, 3, 4 photographs, you will understand everybody who's going to take the food are women. Whether it is Africa, whether it is Bangladesh, whether it is India, or whether it is Sao Paulo. Remember, whether it is Brazil, you remember. So, asking for food, standing in line, I don't know, God forbid, अगर आपको कोई बोले कि जाकर खाना किसी से मांग कर लेकर आओ, your self-esteem will go 10 feet deep down. Your self-respect will be shattered, and you make this woman wait in the in the queue for about hours to get one meal, to get one khichdi, to get one poha, to get 2 packets of biscuit, to get 4 bananas, and you make their self-esteem absolutely shattered. I have seen interviews on the net of women who are crying and saying, मैं सब्जी की रेडी लगा लूंगी, मैं ना किसी को ना चप्पल बेच दूंगी, मैं अपना सामान बेच दूंगी, पर मैं लाइन में खड़े होके खाना नहीं मांगूंगी. मुझे बहुत शर्म आती है. I was self-dependent. Now I have to beg in front of people. My self-esteem has gone down. The earlier slide, please, Saurabh. The earlier slide. Okay. Okay. Let's not forget. Since I'm a feminist and people will say, why you are thinking about them? Oh, we have to think about them. We have got 6,60,000 registered sex worker in India and 2,60,000 registered sex workers in Indonesia. Please check the net. It is given there in the Wikipedia. I have copied the data from there. Indonesia is a Muslim country. Please try to understand that. Okay. Malaysia it's a mixed country. Probably Malaysia is a Muslim country, but Indonesia also is. So when you're talking about 6,60,000 sex workers who will never get a job because corona spreads through touching, have we ever thought about those women when condoms are not available, when pregnancy pills are not available? They'll go to midwife to get their pregnancies aborted through illegal means, inhuman means, unhealthy means. They're going to die. Their children are already vulnerable. They don't know what to do with it. People are trying, and let me tell you, let's not try to be very elite by saying, oh, sex worker does not come in your purview. Please, my friends, all major cities have got sex rackets, all, whether it is New York, Delhi, Mumbai, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Australia, UK, Netherlands, wherever you go, everywhere sex workers are there. Please think they are women. Most of them are women. You'll say there are male sex workers. Yeah, but they're very minuscule in number. So what about them? Did anybody think about them? Did the government send some NGOs to find out how is our Kamatipura workers doing? What are they doing? Are they dying? Are they living? Most of them already have diseases, vaginal diseases, some contracted diseases. They are not able to go to doctors. They are not able to get their treatment. How are they surviving? Have they AIDS? Have they don't have AIDS? Are they living? Are they doing? And let me tell you, in this COVID pandemic, probably people who are absolutely pulvered, only those people will go. Normal people, because they don't have customers, they don't earn money. So naturally, they are more likely to contract virus if they allow somebody to come near them for the sake of filling their stomach, and especially their children's stomach. Remember, all the sex workers have unwanted children and they don't kill them, they rear them up. It's for for reasons which is going to benefit them, or for reasons which is not going to benefit them. They likely give birth to children without father, without paternity issue, and they take care of them, right? In Marathi, if people are understanding, we have a very nice writer who has written a book called Kollatni Chapor, and he's a doctor, and he was a son of a tamashawali, and he has written what kind of perils he has to undergo for being a son of a sex worker. So please try to understand, this is not that we have to close our eyes. If India has got 6,60,000 workers, this is a number and we need to take care. Yes, the next one, Saurabh. It's a picture, and after that we can just go to the next slide. Next slide. Okay, the next one. The next one. Okay, so just quickly I'll go through the next slide bit. Earlier one. Okay, so you have to understand that COVID-19 has also increased in cybercrime against women. I don't want to speak much about it. There was an incident in Delhi, which is known as Delhi locker room, in which people, young boys who didn't have access to go anywhere else, made a kind of a thing. You can read this here, you know, and they started making, you know, absolutely levious and lecherous remarks to girls, you know, like hijacking their profile, talking bad things about. You remember there is a data that up till between March 25 and April 25, there were 396 complaints in Delhi for you know, like cyber sex or sextortion or other things that has been happen. And this has been said by the founder of Akanksha Foundation, Akanksha Shrivastava. She's the one, she's an NGO. She says that we get abuse, indecent exposure, unsolicited obscene pictures, threats, malicious emails, you know, and other things. This is all because people don't have an access to go out and do other activities, engage in other activities. They are doing this. Also, there are nutrition issue. I don't know whether you know, day before yesterday, a woman died in a train which started from Gujarat and went to Muzaffarpur. Her name was Arbina, and she died. She died because she did not eat for 2 days. Probably if she was given she had a 2-year-old child. If she was given a packet of biscuit and water, probably she shared it with the children. There are women in US who are crying. Please go to Al Jazeera and see women in perils in USA, and you'll find there are a number of women who are saying we don't know where the next meal is going to come from. And even if they get a meal, a packet of khichdi, a packet of poha, 2 packets of biscuit, 4 bananas, they are likely to have 2 children whom they want to share it with. And remember, doctors say that people who have got weak immune system are able to contract the virus for a longer period of time. If they have a virus, of course, they don't contract virus because they are weak, but if they have a virus, they are not able to fight because their immunity system is very weak. So they can go on with having that virus contraction for 4 weeks, 3 weeks. And remember, when woman has a virus, the husband deserts, son desert, children desert, father desert, mother desert. They are left in that ward all alone. And not to tell you the condition of the government hospitals, not here in UK, in Italy, in France, in Spain, in USA. I'm not talking about only India. Look, the whole YouTube is filled with, you know, it has been bombarded with such kind of videos where we see that poor people don't get care. And in that poor, if the sex is female, then she's still more further subjected to this thing, you know. She was, this lady's name is Arbina. Please go and check. She died. Her dead body was there on Samastipur. And now when the probe went on, the railway authority is saying that, oh, she was mentally ill. Her family came next day to the camera and said, no, she was fairly fine. She was not mentally ill. And what is the connection between death and mentally ill patient? We have got thousands of mentally ill patients amongst us. They all survived for a pretty long time. She was because she did not have food. I don't know, आपने अगर ये देखा होगा कि रेलवे के कंपार्टमेंट में से लोग पानी लूट लेते हैं, you know, biscuit loot lete hain, ya probably chips packets are being looted. Have you seen any women coming for that loot? No. Why? Because they don't have the strength to come and fight and take away a packet of chips or a packet of water bottle or a packet of khichdi. You'll see nobody fighting. When you see the food fight nowadays at different railway stations or bus stations, you'll never see a woman fighting because she doesn't have the strength to go and fight and snatch a packet of food for herself. She's so fed nutritiously unwell. Forget about that. On bus stations, the pregnant women are not being given a bottle of water. Forget about anybody else. And look at the morale of a woman. You remember that woman who started from some place in Maharashtra and wanted to go to Andhra Pradesh. She gave a birth to a child. Within 2 hours, she started walking and she walked 1,000 kilometers to reach her destination. So remember, women are strong, but if you don't get them food, they're likely to have problems in their life. Next slide, please, Saurabh. The next one. Of course, also women who are left alone. I don't know whether you have ever talked about the destitutes of Banaras. You go to a website, please open it. I've been to that website. There are registered about 10,000 women who are destitute, who are left at the ghats of Banaras by their sons, husbands, relatives, because they are widow. Remember. So, and how do they survive? They survive on charity. They survive on people who come to mandir. They give them money. So when all the ghats are closed, when all the mandirs are closed, when all the charity is closed, how are they going to survive? And what does government give them? 200 rupees a month. 200 rupees a month. Please, just take that 200 rupees, go down and see whether you are able to buy bananas also for the entire family. Forget about anything else. Forget about anything else. Okay. Also, women live longer, men live earlier, shorter because of other diseases like smoking and other things. And when they live longer, they become disabled. And COVID-19 has added to their problem because they are disabled. They cannot go, they cannot call, they cannot have help, they cannot do things. Naturally, please read this report that I've quoted from Duke University Medical Center and what it is showing. The next one, please. Okay, so we come down from women to children, please. And I quickly want to finish it. Okay, now please try to understand 90% of the learners who are enrolled in education system worldwide, 10% are still not enrolled. They are all out of education because all the schools across the world are closed. Whether it is UK, India, Australia, anywhere, all the schools are closed. Okay. Now, second, when the schools are closed and the people say that coronavirus will come, don't go out of the house, then they feel worry, they are anxious, they are fearful, they have experiences which can make their young minds absolutely, throttled, and they will have a different, they have a fear of dying, they have fear of relatives dying. Now that, that Arvina died and his little boy was playing with the dead body and trying to remove the chadar and saying, Mom, please get up. If the child was a little bigger, what kind of image he will have looking at a dead body of the mother? So, and fear, and even if they feel that, oh, they have contracted virus, they get very fearful whether we are going to come alive or not. So anxiety, worry, tension for young children is too much. And nobody is talking about mental health. Did you see anywhere, any hospital, government hospital has made a special center for young children to be counseled online? I'm not talking about NGOs. I'm not talking about psychiatric departments which are working. I'm not talking about them. Yes, they are doing. But is the government doing? Is it not their responsibility? Psychiatric center is only within reach of people who have got access to net and data. They have to try to understand that. Okay. Then the third is, please try to understand that children, try to understand that children learn a lot of things with their friends. Peer learning is an important aspect of the growing up. And since schools have closed, and what I'm likely to hear, that schools are going to get closed till December. That is what the normal school, like 30% coming by turn, odd numbers coming, that's different, but normal, and they have to maintain social distancing. So they cannot join hands, they cannot play kho-kho, they cannot play kabaddi, they cannot play hide and seek, they cannot put their hands around. I don't know whether you have seen, because I'm in B.Ed, I go to different school. When the school is left, you will see the whole road, 10 people putting their hands on each other's shoulders and walking and talking about how bad the teacher was, what fun did they make, what nonsense did they did. This is all the stimulation of growing and mental well-being, which has been missing because there is no school. Okay. And at home, when the child is there, remember, we have got 80% of household in India, which is less than one room. In that one room, there are 50% parents who have marital quarrel, clashes, violence. They are subjected to this kind of violence. Remember, if you study criminal psychology, all dreaded criminals had abused childhood. Abused childhood. Any don, any criminal, any gangster had an I'm not talking about people who want to make their child engineer and he becomes a ATM looter. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people who are cruel. You talk about Aurangzeb, you talk about Changiz Khan, they all had very dreaded childhood. They had a childhood where they were neglected. Don't say even Rabindranath Tagore had a neglected childhood, but he became very creative because of that. I'm not saying that. But if you study criminal psychology, you will find out the number of people who are in criminal, this thing have a very abused childhood. Are we exposing our children to that abused childhood because of the locked menu and one room kitchen that we are making our children stay? Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay. I don't know whether you are in attached with the special education children, but I am. I go to two institutes to teach, one for autism and the other for hearing handicap. You don't understand what these institution means for these children. You know, the autistic children are very likely to have a routine. मतलब उनका एक रूटीन होता है, वो एक सुबह पर्टिकुलर उठते हैं. I go to an institute which is working for autism, and there are women, 10, 12, 15 of them, who are sitting from morning 9 to evening 5 because their child requires an additional help. But they are very eager to do routine work. Now, when the COVID-19 is there is no routine work. There is no drawing, there is no painting, there is no stationery work, there is no Xerox paper, there is no Xerox printout, there is nobody to talk to them. They were set pattern. And when they don't get, they get absolutely ferocious, they may bang their head, they may harm themselves, and so is with other children. As it is, how many parents in this country actually know about the speciality of their children that they have? If a child is hearing handicap, the normal things, I am from north, so the normal thing they will say, "Mera bachcha behra hai." He will never say that child is hearing handicap. Shravan aksham hai, aisa nahi bolenge. As it is, you abuse the child. And in spite of that, if metros have some kind of a center where the child goes for 5 hours, 6 hours to relieve out of that negative atmosphere, COVID-19 has stopped it. So the children who had to learn some things in the span of 6 months, they'll be delayed. They'll not learn it. They'll grow by age, but not by behavior. So they'll become more violent. Parents will have more problem, and nobody is thinking of them. Nobody is thinking of them. Nobody is talking of them. Only you understand, University of Hong Kong has done this department where I've sent this thing. I've taken the data from there. Please try to check it with me. Of course, you are lucky. I am lucky. I'm having a PC. Probably you are having a smartphone. So we are able to have a webinar. What about those children who are 80% of our learning population and they don't have access to smartphone or computers? How are they going to learn? And remember, even if there is no exam, learning is important. We don't teach for exam. We teach because a particular course insights into a student, particular kind of knowledge. Exam नहीं है तो पढ़ाने का ही नहीं. ये क्या बात होती? ये क्या exam नहीं भी हो तब भी course तो पूरा होना चाहिए ना? Whatever has been designed by the so-called intellectuals to finish in order to make the child complete, that has to be done. For example, if I'm teaching different types of quadrilateral in the 4th semester and that has been missed, how will I do a theorem in 8th standard? How will I do when I don't know what are different types of quadrilateral? What is a bisector? What is a perpendicular? What is a hypotenuse? If I don't know, how will I solve a theorem? So education has to take place. Now the question is, how will it take place? There has been about 4 crore migrant workers who have moved out from different cities and towns where the children were enrolled. Now they have gone back to their hometown. Whether they have capacity to teach these children, or these children will remain without education for 1 year. So they will have now missing classes. And all those schools who say we are going to start our school from June, My dear friends, you will start from June because you feel that children have to be given something. That's true. That's true. I don't mind sharing this, that the attention span of children learning through computer is much more than learning without computer. I agree. But my question is, how many percentage, how many schools in Mumbai, our regular aided schools, do they have ICT enabled classrooms so that all children can be taught? And do all children have access to a mobile or a PC? A middle class has only one PC. And if you have two children and the father is working from home, how is he going to have access to PC? Because father has to work to earn the money, to pay the bills, to run the house. He will not give the, anyway, the PC has been given by the company. So he has to use PC for work. What about children then? And I want to just mention this. It added, insult to my injury when I heard that some schools are saying that from 15th June, please make your children wear the school uniform and then make them sit in front of the computer. Why? Why? Oh, because you feel that the school uniform will give a cut to you in the school because the management gets a cut from there. That is why. What is the, what here people don't have clothes to wear. You want them to wear new uniform and sit in front of the computer so that they get the feel of learning. They will get the feel of learning even if they don't wear uniform. The entire America community schools, there is no uniform. They sit without uniform. They go to school without uniform. Please check it. UK, USA, Spain doesn't have uniform. Why do you want to have a uniform in time of crisis? I understand. It's a business and people will get affected. Yes, I know. But those people who cannot afford a uniform, what about them? Have you ever thought? Have you ever think? Why have you made it compulsory? You have asked them to buy books and notebooks from the school. Why? Why when you're teaching online? These are all things that have to be this thing. Okay. Then, of course, people remember that schools have group, cliques, peers. They have a very nice bondage. They are able to relieve mentally, but that is not happening. Please also understand that children learn socialization process from school. They miss it. I'll tell you a personal example. I'm from UP and my husband is from Maharashtra. And I had a daughter whom I used to send to a school called Bombay Cambridge. One day she came back to school, from school, and she said, next day, please in my dabba, give me a yellow ribbon kind of a thing. I only want to eat that. Now, please try to tell me that Maharashtrians don't have yellow ribbon and UPites also don't have yellow ribbon kind of a food item in their entire menu. After great difficulty, I was able to find out that she's talking about khandvi. Because when you open khandvi, it becomes like a ribbon. And children love to lick it up from down to up. It gives them pleasure. We are missing on that. We are missing on religion. We are missing on social functions. We are missing on celebrations. All the schools celebrate Tilak Jayanti, Savitribai Phule Jayanti, Ambedkar Jayanti, Marathi Bhasha Divas. At least by this means, people get socialized. People tend to learn. But that since the school is looming, we are going to miss a lot. And remember, school is not going to be normal even for a year. So all those children who get out of the school system are going to miss. Probably those who remain may have a repetition of these programs, but those who are going to be chucked out will never have this chance. Next one, please, Saurabh. Okay, one more thing you have to understand, that online learning, I've already spoken, they don't have virtual apps, schools don't have, I'm going to just look at. And also please try to understand that the pandemic is likely to create a mental block in the children, that my parents are going to give me things that I want. Otherwise, a child whose father was an auto driver could have bought him a new dress on his birthday or a new dress on a celebration. But now if he asks, he will not be given. So they'll create a mental block that my parents are bad, that my parents are selfish, that my parents don't understand what I want, that my other friends are having and I'm not having. This is going to create a rift between families. Very likely to have rift between families. You see crime patrol and you see there are murders, there have been half attempt to murders on things like a mobile or probably a new dress or a dupatta. Please, we don't want that to happen. Also, when you are making your children look at the computer screen for 4 hours in Dubai, in Abu Dhabi, in other places, 4 hours they have to sit in front of the computer. Please tell me, friends, those who are attending online classes, after an hour or two, you get absolutely restless. Your eyes starts paining, your neck starts paining, you need to have stiff neck. all the MNCs have got a pantry in their office, because every hour the employees get up, go have a coffee, have a bread, have biscuit, do some exercise, go to smoking room and feel relaxed. Our children are not being given chance on online learning or virtual platform. They get bored, they get dejected, they are more vulnerable. Please try to work on that. Schools have to take care of this also. Next one, please, Saurav. Okay. Social distancing, maintaining sanitization, restricted activity has also stopped all the sports and fitness activity. Yesterday, Delhi opened a club in which single sports was allowed, like squash, badminton, lawn tennis. This was allowed, but only 20 people at a time. There was a queue in which numerous youngsters were waiting because they wanted to come out of the house and relax, which is not being able to do. There is a program run by Magic Bus, please see this, in which around 22 states of the country, where they, you please refer this into Satyamev Jayate of Amir Khan, where Magic Bus director says that we are able to teach children through sports activity. Since COVID lockdown, that activity is closed. The Magic Bus does not move in the Jhopadpatti areas, in the hutment areas. So children who were learning education through sports are all gone for a toss. They are not being given a chance to learn. Plus, they are not being getting the chance to raise their self-esteem because they are a good player. If you doubt what I am saying, please refer to sports activity Satyamev Jayate channel and please live up. Also, please try to understand that living at home does not allow children to be disciplined. They can eat anytime, they can sleep anytime, they can sit anytime. This habit of 6 months, 8 months in the home is going to be very difficult for children to adjust in school for another year. It will be a Herculean task for teachers to make students pay attention to whatever teaching they are doing in the class. They are going to have a harrowing experiences of making children understand that discipline is of extreme importance. And for that, teachers need to be having psychologically taught right now so that they are able to handle this crisis better. Next one, please, Saurav. Okay, please try to understand that when a child enters a park, any park, he goes on a swing, he goes on seesaw, he goes on net, he goes on some other things and this type, because unstructured playground time develops the brain. When you don't give any task to the brain, upar se, you don't pressure them, the brain tries to make meaning in the different activity that has been taking place. So when you don't allow children to play, the playgrounds are closed, the parks are closed, the school parks are closed. I also want to draw your attention. Mamata Banerjee, all due respect to her as a chief minister, she must have done extremely well in her efforts to make Corona lockdown okay. And she has opened Gurdwara, Masjid, Mandir, Church from 1st of June to allow people 20 in a group. Because I understand there are economic issues related to that. But dear Mamata Banerjee, did you also try to open playgrounds? Did you tell the school, please open the playground? We are going to appoint one person. Parents will come with their tots or younger one, and they will play for 20 minutes on seesaw, on swing, and take the child away so that their natural development takes place. Does anybody bother to sanitize the playground, the parks? Have they allowed children to play in it? Do they have enough, disinfecting machines at every meter? So they have not done it. And remember, if the children don't play, their brain size shrinks. They are not able to think correctly. Not everybody, but a few of them. And also, last one I would like to say is that fine motor ability and gross motor ability. What is fine motor ability? When a child scribbles, when a child makes a roll of a paper, when a child holds a pencil, then it is fine motor ability. When the child climbs a step, when a child goes into a bus, when a child goes and paddles into a cycle, then it is gross motor ability. Both abilities are being kept at bay because of the coronavirus. It is going to be a delayed milestone in the development of the child, and that is why it is dangerous for children also. There are many things to talk, but I think that is my last slide. Saurav, the last one. Please, they say a person needs just 3 things to be truly happy in this world: someone to love, something to do, and something to hope for. I have students to love, I have teaching to do, and I have hope that our society will become better with the, like, joint effort of all those people who are attending this seminar. It is sent by Tom Bodett. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Saurav, that's done.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for your wonderful session. Your session was indeed an eye-opener for us, and it actually told us the reality. Uh, we'll have some question and answers.
Yeah, please ask me the question and I'll be glad to answer them, Saurav.
Is there any question? Just a minute. Ma'am, not many questions, but very good comments.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
Yeah.
So there's no need. I think we have exceeded the time. May I take this opportunity to thank one and everyone who has attended the seminar. I hope my words, even if 1% of what I have said goes down well with your system, I'll be happy and glad. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thanks.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, ma'am. Your session was indeed an eye-opener for us.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Told us the
Thank you,
reality.
Pratnya ma'am. Thank you, Amol sir. Thank you, Saurav sir. And thank you, Sarang. My bacha is my BEd student. Thank you so much, beta. Thanks a lot. Okay. Bye bye. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
to
you,
all
madam.
the participants.